I'm Tania Rogers, and you're listening to Mindful Hustler, the podcast helping entrepreneurs get out of their heads and onto building their dreams. Together, we're building businesses while balancing minds. Let's dive in. I am so excited for today's episode. We sit down with Washington, D.C. based photographer and my dear friend, Carletta Girma, aka Carletta the Great. Yay! We get to explore her journey from capturing candid moments to creating a thriving and purpose driven photography business. Carletta shares with us how her love for people and storytelling fuels her work, the importance of authenticity and branding, and how she empowers clients to embrace their true selves. Whether you're an inspiring photographer, a creative entrepreneur, or someone seeking to align your career with your calling, Carletta's insight offers inspiration and practical advice for building a brand that reflects values and vision. Carletta, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm gonna steal your intro from me for like everything I do from here on out. Thank you so much.
Girl, this was
Putting it
like
on
the
a business
easiest
card,
intro.
on a t-shirt, everything. I'm like, this is who I am. Tania said. Thank you very much.
This was the easiest intro to make because it's so funny. Right before filming, B and I were talking, and we both agree you are one of the most confident human beings we know.
Thank you.
It just, yeah, honestly, it just exudes you. You wear who you are
Thank
just
you.
on your sleeve. Yeah. And so describing you is like, it's easy.
Yeah, we cannot start this podcast with tears. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, seriously, it shows in your work and it also shows in just a simple conversation with you. So I knew you were perfect. I wanted to talk to you for this show.
Thank you.
And I'm so thankful that you agreed to do it because I know you were booked and busy, honey. Like you
We
are
are
always
busy.
booked and busy.
I am. I stay busy. I like to tell the joke that like I'm a working photographer. Like people say I'm a photographer. I'm like, I'm a working photographer. Like I actually go to work and I go to work a lot. And I am very thankful for that. So yes.
Just speaking about confidence, where does that confidence come from? Like, were you always that way? How did you get so confident?
No, no. Honestly, this is like real talk. I think I'm a confident person because I had no other choice, right? I was poor, I was black, I was fat. I've always been fat. And I think everything about those three things really says, like, also, I'm a woman, right? So
Mhm.
I think all of those things are like kind of a perfect storm of like society telling you that you're less than, and then getting to a
Yeah.
place of being like, that's false. Like, that's actually not true, right? And I think that I say often is like, we can boil down everything in the society to like capitalism and patriarchy. And I think with like a little razzle dazzle of like racism, you know what I mean? But like those things kind of go in the top two. And I think once you kind of get to that place, or for me, once I got to that place of like clarity, like who could tell me, right? Like who could tell me that like I am not who I know myself to be, right? And so I just try to move in this world knowing those things, and also moving in this world as a person who like believes in God and thinks that like and says often, I am God's favorite one of one, right?
Mhm.
So that's how I move, right? Because until I know otherwise, why would I not believe that?
That is so powerful and so important. Honestly, it just reminds me I need our girls, our daughters to be around you more because there needs to be
Oh,
more, yeah, more people around them just living that truth. Like it's one thing to say you're confident, but it's another thing to really embody it. And
yeah, I think that's
yeah.
kind of a thing that I'm always trying to like bring to people, right? To my clients, and also just reminding people on the day to day, like honestly, like the body that you carry through this world is arguably like the least interesting thing about you.
Yeah.
And so for me, like who I am, like my actual size means so little, right? Like so little, but I'm so happy to be in this body. And like, I just want people to like feel that about themselves, right? To remind you again, least interesting thing about you, you're here for it for a short time. So like, just love it and be in it, right? Like, love it and be in it, and move through the world with that.
That's such an interesting insight. Your body is like the least interesting thing about you coming from a photographer. So what got you into photography?
I always tell this story about how like I was always a person with a camera, right? But again, reminder, poor, like no money. So photography was always really cost prohibitive. Always really cost prohibitive. You could, like it wasn't a thing you could like kind of dabble in because of the money. So again, always had a camera in my hand. And then I think, gosh, it's probably been 15 years. My husband bought me like a kind of nice camera. And I was like, oh, you can't tell me anything now, right? Like, please, please. And I would take it everywhere, everywhere. And my friends would be like, "You're really good at this." And I'm like, "Am I good at this? Or am I the person who comes to the parties and takes the photos?" Right.
Mm.
And my friends let me photograph their wedding. They
Mm.
loved me. The fact that they
Yeah.
had 10 good pictures is like a miracle unto man. And it just went from there. It kind of snowballed from there. I was like working at a market research company, and kind of like hustling photography on the side, like going and working with people and being like, let me just photograph you. I just want to photograph you. Like, let's do an hour and I'll charge you $50. Unheard of things, right? And, but I liked it. I liked being with people and I liked like creating the art. And when the job ended, I was like, well, I don't know. I've been doing kind of okay, like doing photography. Like, could I try it for a year? Like, let's just see what a year looks like. And first year, I think I made like $17. You know what I mean? Like nothing. And, but I had a decent amount of clients. And the second year, it got a little bit better. And the third year, I was like, oh no, like we're really cooking with gas. So it just snowballed from there. And here we are.
Where did you learn the technical skills behind it? Because I remember when I first brought my nice camera, you were the first person I called and I asked you, about it. And I'm stubborn. You were like, I think that's a little advanced for you. And I was like, no, I got this. Lord knows I still don't know how to work that camera. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. I just still know
Yeah.
the basics. So where did you learn it? How did you learn?
Okay. So I had been again always a person with a camera. I had taken like one photography class in high school, but the truth of the matter is I learned by doing, reading, and YouTube. Those three things were like that was it, right? And and I think everything that I did, like every session I had, I'd learn something else or I challenged myself to do something a little bit different. Like how can I make this better or easier for myself? So making mistakes, honestly, I made a lot of mistakes. Like when I look back in hindsight, short sessions at weddings, I'm like, could have done that different. Should have done that different. Wish I had done that. Um, but yeah, I was a voracious reader, and you can learn anything you want to learn on YouTube. It's like impossible not to
Uh-huh.
learn it if you really, really want to use to learn. And so I did. I just like I looked at videos and then I'd try to implement the things. I'd make my husband sit for things. I'd make my friends sit for things, and I just practiced and did it. But you again, you learn by failure. You know what I mean? Trial by fire, really. You know what I mean? Like really just putting yourself in it and being like, this is what I do. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm such a huge believer in YouTube University. I learned so many things from there. So I completely
1000%.
agree. Yeah. So, where did you learn to put your brand together and packaging and offer? Because I know sometimes that really holds people up. They don't know what to charge. And then they also don't know how to turn that into like consistent revenue. And I know you have a real consistent business. So, how did you do that part?
Again, trial by fire, like really just throwing myself into it and like, and then asking people, like really networking and looking at, I like, probably even still in my bookmarks here, I probably have 100 websites of people that I like liked or came across and just kind of wanted to see what other people were doing and like across the country too. And around really around the world, like just other photographers. What are other photographers doing that I think like I maybe could implement in my business? What might work? Also, not for nothing, I didn't start out as Carletta Girma, like .com, Carletta Girma photography. I was not that. I had like a random business name that I really liked
Oh,
actually, that a woman was like, "Oh, I own the copyright to that. You can't call your business that." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Moved on to something else. Then I was like, "No, that's stupid." Moved on to something else. And I was like, "No, I don't like that one either." So I've been a lot of different things, right? And then I just realized that it's like I am the brand, right? Like I am it. So let it just be my first name, last name, and like and let it go, right? And photography. And then if it pivots from if I decide next week I'm gonna start a crochet business. I could still be Carletta Karma, but I'd be Carletta Karma Crochet. So it was that. And I think the business side of that, again, came over time because I think one of the things, especially in photography, is because there's so many of us. Because the threshold for being able to do this job has really been greatly lowered with the technical skill of cameras. So like in
Mhm.
theory, anybody can take a good photo, right? But like, can you frame it? Is it right? Is it interesting? Right? Like all of those things matter, right? Also the experience matters. Like how you feel when we're
Uh,
together, that matters, right? That's part of the business for me. It's not just technical skill. It's the feelings, you know? So I think, yeah, in the beginning, I think I undervalued myself a lot. And over time, I think I've just, again, temp checked the industry to see like kind of where I am, but also try to stay in a place that feels like my work for the people that I would love to attract feels approachable, but also that like I'm not in my house starving either.
I love that. That's such a great
I mean,
point. Yeah.
honestly, truly, like I still have bills to pay. Like I want everybody to be able to have photography and like kind of the archiving of photos, especially like for families and more specifically for Black people. I want that. And so it needs to be at a level that like I work in a luxury business and I understand that. But I want it to feel like it's for you, it's for you, it's for you, it's for you, it's for everybody.
Do you have like a certain quota that you want to reach personally, like each month or every year to like, how do you make it steady?
This industry is so kind of this, right? So I'm typically the most busy from I'd say March through now, through the end of May, March through May, and then again, like September through November, right? Those are like kind of my busy months. There's never a month that I don't work, right? Never. But those are the ones where I can guarantee that I'm probably working 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes more than that. And then, so I'm just like, what is that story where it's like the animal who's like storing the stuff for the winter? I'm like that. So
Uh,
I know that like November, December is probably a little more lean for me. So I kind of mentally prepare for that through that time. I would say that photography is like the whole industry is like in a little bit of a transition because we're all coming down from the highs of like the last of the COVID weddings, so to speak. Everybody who was getting married or couldn't get married in COVID got married in the last 2 years. So things are a little
Mhm.
quieter now in that industry, especially for weddings. But my portrait business and my event business continues to boom and grow. And I love that for me because I
Mm.
really love that the most.
Tell me, so your event business, do you have a separate business or is it taking photography for events?
For events, so everything falls under the same umbrella. Like I'm a Jill of all trades, so to speak. So the
Hmm.
things that I do, I would say that wedding and lifestyle. Lifestyle means basically everything else that's not a wedding. So headshots, portraits, families, babies, events, all of that stuff. I do all of that. There are very few things that I like kind of don't want to do or I'm not interested in doing. So it falls under the same umbrella. But I like events because events are essentially, for me in my brain, how I frame it is like it's the reception part of the wedding, but except I get to leave and I don't have all the pomp and circumstance before, which
I
love
love
that for me.
that. Yeah, I love that for you too. And earlier you mentioned what differentiates you from other photographers is the experience, and I couldn't agree more. As one of those friends who you shot their wedding, I got to see firsthand, I got to experience what it's like shooting with you. And then you also shot with Rogue, was it like last year or 2 years ago?
Yes, yes, last year.
Yeah, and that was so much fun, and what I noticed about you filming is it's so natural, it's almost like, "Did you get the shot?" Like, "Did you do it?" And it's like, "Oh, no, I was shooting the whole time," like, "Click, click, click," and it's such a fun experience where you just feel so natural. Where did you learn that? Is that just your personality or
My story is like people are my superpower. If I had a superpower, it's people. It's peopling. And I really am so, so thankful for that. Like I'm the kind of person that like people on the street like just want to talk to, like randomly, right? Like it doesn't matter what I'm doing, like strangers want to talk to me. And I always my number one compliment that I get is like that I have good energy. And I love that so, so much
Mm,
because I want to be putting that energy out into the world. I want people to know that I am welcoming. This is a safe space, all of those things. And so I think it's just a skill I've honed over time. Like, but I am really interested in people. Like I'm interested in people and I'm interested in their stories. I also, not for nothing, I really do love children. And I think the fact that they love me back is just, I don't know. That to me is nobody can tell me anything because I'm like, kids like me. Kids like me. The adults, they're broken. I don't know, but the kids like me. And I love that. I love that so bad, honestly and truly. There's not a kid who doesn't like me. They might be slow to warm, and I'm okay with that. I can play the long game. But kids like me, and I think that is a testament to who I am as a person. I sometimes literally say to my husband, I'm like, tell you like all the kids like me. It's like, it's kind of nice. Huh? Seriously, that is my like one of my greatest achievements in life. The children like me because I think
Yeah,
they're such a
children
good
are
judge of
honest.
character.
Children are honest. They
Yes.
will let you know. They will let you know. They don't fake the
A
funk for
thousand
anybody.
percent at all. Right. And like you have to like really earn their trust. And I love that. And I'm willing to do it. Like, what do you need? What do you need to smile? I will do it.
So, what strategies, or do you have any strategies that effectively attract the right kind of clients who align with your values? Are you choosy about your clients, or yeah, what's that process like?
Without being hokey about it, I pray about it. I ask God to send me the people that are right for me. Send me the clients that you know are right for me, people that you want me to be in relationship with. It'll make me like sentimental about it because I think like I feel
Mm,
so blessed to be able to do this job. I will say often, anybody who I've ever, I'm going to cry about this. Anybody that I've ever
mm,
photographed has probably heard me say, I know how lucky I am to get to do this job. I take photos for a job. And then when I go to weddings, I end the night with cake. Like I win at every turn. I get to hang out with your kids. I love that. I'm winning in that, right? And so I just don't take it for granted. And then when I go in somebody's home or I see somebody's lock screen on their phone and it's a picture I've taken, I'm like, well,
mm,
that's like for real. Like you for real printed that photo. You for real, like use my photos for things. Like it kind of blows my mind. And so I think it's the prayer, it's putting out that kind of energy into the universe about like what I want to do and like what I think like I want like people to feel and see when they see my art. And it
mm,
keeps the people that I want to be in relationship with coming back to me. Because at this point, like so many of my clients are clients that I'm seeing for the second, third, fourth, 10th time. You know what I mean? Like I all my clients come back.
mm,
And I that is a testament to like my work and to who I am as a person. And I just like
mm,
I feel so profoundly grateful for that, right? Like,
mm,
what do you mean you want to hire me again? What do you mean I'm watching your children grow up on my hard drives? Do you know what I mean? Like there are kids
mm,
I've been photographing since they were in utero. And that blows my
mm.
mind, right? Who are like in school. And also I get so excited when the kids are excited to see me. Like when they come back and they're like, Carletta, 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 let me tell you about all the things I've been doing since I haven't seen you for a year or 6 months. Like that, yeah, put that in my veins.
It's so funny. The amount
There's a
of
tissue somewhere around here.
No, it's okay. The amount of people that I have conversations with where tears actually start to flow, I couldn't even tell you. And I'm starting to realize it's almost like an extension of my therapy practice, this chair. And it's not that
Girl,
we're
please.
that we're doing therapy, but it's just like that safe space and talking about things that we really love and that we're
It's
passionate
who you
about.
are.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank
No,
you. I
I'm serious.
honestly
It's who you are.
I do feel like that's a part of my superpower is just I almost feel like I love that womb like space of that holding space, making someone just feel warm and comfortable and
Yes.
we just connect. And yeah, that's something I do love about being a therapist. So thank you for just giving me like your honest feelings and also talking about your passion. And I'm so curious, like, at what point did you realize like, oh, this is it for me? Like my career is matching my calling. Do you remember that point?
I don't think there was actually like any one moment that felt like that for me. I think it was just like again, like a slow kind of slow burn for me where I'm just like, okay. All right, well, I'm having a good time. Okay, we're making money. All right, we don't have to just eat spaghetti. And I think it really it's again seeing people come back, right? Because then I'm like, they liked what I do. Because a lot of times what happens is like I photograph somebody, I send you a gallery, and I don't hear from you, right? Like I don't hear from my clients. Sometimes they write me back, sometimes they don't. But I've learned not to internalize that one way or the other. But when they come back, I know you did something, right? Because people are not going to pay you if they don't like it. So that
Mhm.
matters to me. So I don't think there was one kind of pivotal moment, but I do always like my prayer is you like send me the people who are right for me, continue to keep my steps ordered, show me that what I'm doing is what you want me to be doing, right? And
Mhm.
when I do that, inevitably there'll be a inquiry in my inbox or somebody's like, I want to have a session. And I'm like, okay, well that's what I asked for. I asked God to show me this and that's what he showed me. And so I try to like, be faithful in that and honor it. And so I don't necessarily, yeah, like I don't necessarily court any kind of one particular person. Yeah, I attract the do-gooders. And I love that.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so important to have some sort of faith that you can lean into because I know it's not always easy. Do you ever feel like times are rough and you
Yes.
struggle? Like, do you struggle with remaining faithful to your faith or to the vision? Like, how do you handle the hardships?
Reminding myself that everything I've asked for, I have been given plus some, right? And so to honor what I've been given is to show up again, be myself, be present, and give people the best of me, right? So at whatever time we're together, so, like, my sessions are structured as 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and an hour, with really that kind of hope that most people do generally take like the middle and they take about 30 minutes. Because at this point, like, I know what I'm doing and I can do it in 30 minutes or less, right? I don't really need an hour unless we're like changing clothes or locations. Like, the hour is that's a long term thing. So just reminding myself, like, this is what I want, right? This is what I want. Also, it is what God wants from me. And if you ask for the thing, you have to stand in it, right? If I say I want to do this thing and this is what like I feel like my calling is, and everything about it says that like that is what you also want from me, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my level best. That's not to say that there are not times where I'm just not second guessing. And in those times, honestly, like even now, like I said to you, like the industry is like kind of in this weird place, right? So this year, to be fair, I do not have a lot of weddings booked, right? The other parts of my business, they're great, no notes, right? But I don't have a lot of weddings booked. I'm not concerned about it because I know like God is going to take care of me. I am not concerned. I'm like, it will be what it is going to be. I will stay in this industry because this is what I know I'm supposed to be doing. Nothing about what I'm doing, nothing about what's happened in this job has said to me that this is
Mhm.
not where I'm supposed to be. And I think again, with the industry kind of being in that little bit of flux, this is a separating the wheat from the chaff season. It is
Mm,
who can ride this thing out, who really wants to be here and who thought like that seems easy, I could do it. Right?
mm,
Because everybody wants to be, well, not everybody. A lot of people think that like they want to be small business owners until they are small business owners, right?
mm,
Because if my business flatlines, it's me. If my business succeeds, it's me. So I have to keep asking myself, like, what am I doing? What can I do different? How can I make adjustments? Who could I call? Who might know somebody else? Have I followed up on this thing, right? I am all the things, right? I am the money person.
mhm.
I am the social media person. I am the marketing person. I am the brand. I am the brand, right? I am all of the things. So just trying to remember that like what I put in it is what I get back out of it.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. It's like you wear all of the hats, and it really does separate
Yes.
people who just want to do it just to test it, and people who have committed, made that decision, like this is what I'm going to do. And
Yes.
something that you said earlier that really stuck with me, and I do the same thing. I had to do it this morning. Is like you said something like I get to do this, and that is something that I say when I need gratitude. Like I get to have these problems. I even like when I'm
Yes.
overwhelmed and I have to, when I have to wash the dishes, I have dishes to wash. Like I have food to wash off of these dishes. And it's just such a great reminder when we're feeling down and we're feeling like so overwhelmed. It's like you asked for this and be grateful that you can actually even complain about it.
I will say maybe has it been that long? Maybe 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I started keeping a daily gratitude journal. And I tell everybody who listens to me, it is the single thing that changed my life more than anything, right? Because it just keeps me in that present space, right? It keeps me remembering like all that I do have to be thankful for, which is boundless, honestly and truly, right? And so, and now I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, have I written that in like the last 5 days? And I probably should. But yeah, so I've been keeping like a paper journal. This year I moved it to digital. But yeah, I keep a gratitude journal. And it's just some days it's one or two things, some days it's like six, right? But I keep a
Uh,
gratitude journal and I love looking back on it and seeing like kind of where I was. And some days it's something simple as like being able to make myself breakfast in the morning, which is a luxury, right? Another day might be like that I have a washing machine in my home. Like all those things like that you just like kind of take for granted on the day to day. I wanted to always stay in that space. And I think it's like again, reinforcing that kind of notion of like all that you are given is you have to be thankful for. So yeah, I'm with you right there on that. Just staying in that space of gratitude always.
what kind of advice would you give someone looking to break into the photography industry right now?
One, that this industry is very much in flux. Yes, I understand that like cameras have gotten arguably smarter than we are. But there's so much more to this business than just like, again, your technical skill. Because one of the things I say too is like, you can say that like my style is not your style, and that's fine because there's a lid for every pot, right? Um, but tell me that my pictures aren't technically sound, I'd be like, no, you're a liar. You actually don't know anything. So that like that's not true, right? But again, it is about the experience, right? So what are you bringing to the table besides like your ability to take a photo, right? Are you giving people a good experience? Do you make people feel good? All those things really, really matter. And so really, really think about those things. Also, while it's gotten like the playing field has gotten kind of more level in terms of like money and accessibility, it's still incredibly expensive to like be in this job and to continue to like upgrade things. Things break, the technology changes, like all of those things are really really important, and you really have to think about that. It's not an industry I think that excuse me, that I would get into lightly, honestly and truly. As easy as the barrier is to getting into it, it is not for the faint of heart, because it is. I mean, I joke that I'm a customer service agent with a camera, right? So like it is that I'm doing a lot of peopling, a lot of intense peopling. After a wedding, the next day, 24 hours, I don't want to talk to anybody. I've done my good talking to people for a day, and I'm very much an extrovert, but like I get maxed out on that. Yeah, I'd say tread carefully. And that's not to say I would discourage anybody from doing the thing. Like if this is what you want to do, then you should chase it. Do it, right? But do it with your heart, and not with any like, honestly, without any like real, it's very unlikely that you're going to be rich doing this, right? You might make a good living and you might do well. I mean, if you want to be rich, I hope that you are, but like it's very unlikely. There's just so many of us, right? So, yeah, get into it with like practical thoughts, right? And realistic goals.
And it sounds like not for the money, but for something deeper than.
Yes, yes, because the money comes and goes in this job very easily, right? Like it just does. The people in this industry, let's just specifically let's talk about weddings. The people in this industry who are making 10, 15, 20K a wedding, to be clear, not me. The people in this industry who are making 10, 15, 20K a wedding, a lot of them have been here much longer than me doing this too. Um, but that is a very niche part of this business, right? And to be fair, kind of when I'm looking at things, I'm looking at people talking, I'm on Reddit, I'm reading things. It looks like that part of like wedding photography is also very much in a shift because the economy is changing, right? And again, with the like kind of realization that like again, we are in a luxury business. People see photography as a luxury business. They don't see it as a necessity. I do, but it is my job, right? I work in a luxury business, and when people's money is tight, what goes first? Luxuries. Yeah, it's the thing that they're willing to sacrifice.
How do you see your work contributing to broader conversations about representation and authenticity in the industry?
Well, okay. One of the things when I'm talking about these kinds of things with other photographers or just in general is that this industry, at least the part that you see, is very white, right? It's white faces, it's white families, it's thin white people, and like all of those things. And while I photograph all of those things, right, my work is definitely more reflective, I think, of my life, right? So my clients are Black, my clients are people of color, my clients are fat, my clients are queer. All of those things are important to me, right? I want my
Mhm.
work to reflect the life that I live, right? So if I say that like I believe in photographing Black families and Black people specifically and women, then my work needs to reflect that, and I think that it does.
Mm.
If I say that I'm an ally, then my work should reflect that my clients are also in that community, right? And it does. So I try to always think about that. Like, how do I serve the communities that I belong to and that I respect?
I love that. I love that. And it just goes to show you're, again, embodying your values. You don't just say you do these things, like your work
Thank you.
speaks, yeah, it speaks for itself. I love looking at your photos, by the way, because it really, everything that you're talking about, when you
Thank
go on
you.
your page, you see it. Yeah, you see it. And I even can just, I could picture what the session was like for them because I've gotten to experience it. I'm like, they had so much fun. Like, I bet you they didn't even feel like they were at a photo shoot. They just like, it's easy.
I do say
Um,
that. I do say that. I say it should be pretty easy, right? We should be like, I talk a lot at my sessions because I think it's disarming for my clients, right? Because you're talking to me and then you're like not thinking about the thing that you're actually doing. So it should be fun. You should be like, "Yeah, listen, my girl, I want to do it again tomorrow, but today was cooking, right?" And I love that, right? I want to have a good time because if you have a good time, I'm having a good time. And I can tell when somebody's like super nervous, right? You can see it sometimes like in the pictures. As like if I keep the pictures in chronological order, sometimes you can kind of see somebody just relaxing frame by frame. And I
Relaxing.
love that actually. I really do. Because then you get out of your head and you're like, it's actually not that bad. I
Yeah.
don't, yeah, like people hype it up because they're like, and I do think being photographed can be a difficult endeavor. I do fully understand that, right? But I think my goal is to make you not think about it, right? And it's always my
Mhm.
hope. Were you not worried the entire time? And even if the entire time means half of that, a win is a win.
You just reminded me, I need to book with you soon because what I find is I try to do like routine, not photo shoots, just literally be grabbing a camera and we go somewhere and he takes photos for me. But when you
Yeah.
said it can be a difficult suit, it's true. Like getting out of your head, at least for introverts, I know for me, it's hard. It's hard. It looks so easy for some people, but when I tell you, when I get in front of the camera, I feel so awkward. Like, and I don't know, well, I do know where that comes from. There's a lot
Which
of
is
childhood wounds
wild.
and unpacking.
Yes, but it's wild because you are incredibly photogenic. I don't have an ugly photo of you. I don't like I'm like, what is she talking about? I don't what does she mean? I'm so
Oh.
serious. I'm not gassing you because you're my friend. I could have just been like, no, I understand, but like, no, I really mean that. Like you're a very photogenic person. So, yeah, I think generally speaking, not and to be fair, not everybody is photogenic. It really is very difficult for some people to get in front of the
Mhm.
camera and like fully relax, right? To just be like to be
Mhm.
themselves and show up as themselves. And so sometimes it is like I am doing the good work to just like have you take a breath. Just take a breath and relax. Like everything's fine.
Mm.
I got you. The pictures will be fine, right? But yeah, I just think it's important, right? And I think even if it is just your husband taking pictures of you, I think that is also important and valuable, right? Again, everything I say about photography, to me feels like kind of a hard sell because I'm like, I do this. You should hire me and give me your money.
Mhm.
But I think that the best camera is the camera in your hands, right? So even if it's not me
Mhm.
taking the picture, right? Take it. Take them anyways. Take 100 of them.
Yeah.
Take them of your kids. And also, not for nothing, like really specific to you and to other people who might be watching this. I read an article. I've not stopped talking about this article. I read an article like it's probably been 3 years, and it was called "The Myth of Moms." And
Mm.
it was about how moms don't often appear in pictures with their children because they're busy taking the pictures, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
and
Yeah.
also not, they're taking the pictures and because they have these
We
weird
look
self
crazy.
image things, right? Because women, right? And we're like
Oh,
all the
I thought
things
you were
that
gonna
go
say
into
because we're
that, right?
looking all ragged. Because I know sometimes I
No,
am with
no,
these
not even about
kids.
like, no. But here's the thing. Your kids know you in all of the phases, right? And they love you in all of the phases, right? And so I think it's just so important to document those things because those are the pictures that your kids remember, right? They remember that like when my mama gets up in the morning, she looks insane. But God, I love her so much. Like I remember mornings with my mom, like doing X, Y, and Z,
Mm.
right? Those moments are so valuable for your children and especially for moms, right? And so I think it's so important for like for people and families to remember that like moms should be present in photos no matter what the like self-image stuff is, no matter how crazy you look as a mom, like show up in the pictures because your kids will want those, right? Like again, we're here for such a short time. And pictures are so valuable. And now I'd make an argument too with everything that's going on, like politically, that like the erasure of like the Black experience specifically and a Black family experience is so important to document because
Mm.
everything about what's happening says that
Mm.
like the erasure of like Black culture is right on the precipice. And so I think it's so valuable, right? Again, feels a little bit like a hard sell, but I don't know. I just remember being young and going to my grandmom's house and looking at those like photo albums with the magnetic pages that she kept on her coffee table, religious, and like loving that. Like really, really loving that. And I think I
Mm.
want that for kids because everything's digital. Like it's so important to print your photos and be able to hold them in your hands. And just every once in a while, just pull them out and look at them, right? And just be like, this is so nice. Can't you remember this? Yeah.
That made me emotional.
So yeah, take
Like
the pictures.
honestly,
No, take the
that
pictures. Yeah, take the pictures.
that made me
Yeah.
emotional because you're right. Like documenting the Black family and the Black experience. Like, we need that. We need that now more than ever, and our kids need
So
that.
bad.
Yeah, our kids
Yeah,
and
because
next
it's like it's
generation.
such a shift. Yes, I was saying to my husband yesterday, what was I talking about? There was something I realized that like the kids will never ever experience. I mean, always every generation there's something that goes away.
Mhm,
The kids now, like nobody prints photos, and I'm just like, what a loss. What an actual loss that nobody prints photos, right? And I think it's
mhm,
again for me, I often like give a printed photo as a gift. I love to give a printed photo as a gift. I love to give a session as a gift. I often give like sessions, my own sessions to people that I know like want them, but like won't buy them for whatever reason. Because I think it's
mhm.
so important. Honestly and truly. It's just so, so important.
It really is. What legacy do you hope to leave through photography and the experiences you create for clients?
The legacy is more about what I'm creating for families and for people than like my actual self, right? I think like when I think about again, this is weird. Just it's tears palooza today. When
I
I
love it.
think about my friends' kids looking at photos that I took of their parents, and like potentially their kids looking at photos that I took of their grandparents, like it humbles me to think that like I'm going to be like dirt and ashes, and people will be looking at art that I created in this lifetime that I got to create in my lifetime blows my mind. Like,
Mm,
I just can't even fathom it. So, again, it's the gift of a lifetime, honestly and truly. If I accomplished nothing else in my life, but I've done what I've done up until this point, I'd be like, wow, what a life she lived. What a life she got to live. It was so amazing. So, I think, yeah, the legacy for me is like that she documented people in a way that was like honest, joyful, and truthful. Right? Like, I saw you as you were in whatever moment that I saw you, and that is so important to me, right? I wanna be able to, like, really talk to people. I'm a people person, and I think, again, I'm invested in your stories. I wanna hear what you're doing, and I meet the most fascinating people with the most curious hobbies and the most curious interests, and I am so, so invested in that, like, so, so invested in that. I've met a death doula. I've met,
mm,
uh, I photographed numerous authors who have written New York Times bestsellers. So lucky to do that, right?
mm,
But for me, really, like it's the small things. It is families, it is people, it is children, it is documenting people at like the happiest times. I've photographed a funeral before. It is their darkest times. It is
mm,
all those things and everything in between that makes me so, so thankful to be able to get to do this every day.
mm.
Even when I'm tired,
Awesome.
even when I'm like, "Oh, I guess we're gonna pick up that backpack again today, girl." Yeah, yeah,
Carla, last question. I ask all of our guests this.
yes.
What does hustle mindfully mean to you?
I would say again, keeping in mind why you're doing what you're doing. Like always just keeping that at the forefront, right? Like what is your purpose in this, right? Like the hustle is how do I get to where I want to be, right? But in the way that is so true to yourself, right? Staying true to yourself. Like I'm not going to compromise myself for anything. I have to stay true to who I am and the rest will follow.
I love it. You're brilliant. You are one of the most beautiful
Thank
souls
you.
I know. I'm so
Thank you.
thankful
Thank
to
you.
know
Thank you.
you and to yeah, and honestly, I know
Very hard saying.
you're one of his closest friends. You're more like a sister. He calls you his big sis. So I'm so thankful that I get to witness your relationship with him because it's such a special one. And
Thank you.
I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here.
I love you more, honestly and truly. Thank you so much for having me. It has been a pleasure. You are an amazing person, and I love that you get to do this, honestly. What a gift.
Thanks so much for listening. If you like this episode and you don't want to miss another, make sure you subscribe. See you next time.